Eddie Hearn, this is Richard Schaefer. Richard Schaefer, this is Eddie Hearn.
We know each other well.
You guys
well.
You go back a long way, is that right?
We do, yeah. Like a mixed relationship over the years, because I used to, as you know, I like to. I don't mean to wind people up, but the British sense of humour can sometimes be different to that in America. So, you know, sometimes Richard said stuff about me in the past. I've said stuff about him, but right now we're friends. So hopefully that continues.
Richard, what have you said about our Eddie?
Well, I don't remember. You know, you don't remember the bad things. You just remember the good things. And Eddie is a tremendous promoter, the hardest working promoter. Has done a fantastic job here in the UK, in Europe, in the US. And it's a pleasure for me really to work with him. And, you know, there was never really any particular beef.
No, not
we
really.
had.
It was
I don't really. He
no.
was like talking about bring your popcorn.
That's it. I was doing an impersonation of you sometimes.
But now everybody's talking about bringing popcorn.
You're doing an impersonation of Richard.
No, I'm not doing it now. But it was
now we're
Eubank.
friends.
It was Chris Eubank. It was loads of different things.
Yeah.
Yes. But it was Richard used to work with Golden Boys, been around for a long time, much longer than me, and we're quite aggressive at what we do, and I don't mind ruffling feathers. And sometimes you have to go in and ruffle feathers, and you have to make noise.
You can identify with that, Simon.
Absolutely.
Of course, from the world of football.
Absolutely. It's nice to see Eddie getting some plaudits. I mean, I realise Eddie is the president of his own fan club, but notwithstanding that...
Well, I don't get any plaudits from you, do I?
Yes, you do. Every now and
On
again.
a serious note, I'll say one thing. I listened to your show last week with Michael Bisping, right?
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the conversation about, I know we're talking boxing,
He's
but just a quick one on UFC, because I went on Saturday, right? And I was kind of agreed with what you said originally, and having been there, having experienced it, having listened to and watched the skill up close across the disciplines, actually changed my perception of UFC. It was
pretty enough.
special.
So when you went, you saw it up close and personal.
and saw the skill. It was brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I went to one in 2013. Was my last one, and I was right there by the octagon, and it was brutal.
Sure.
But it was also really interesting to watch the different skills in play.
They invited me to go along, but I was in a difficult position because I'd said, not if you tied my tongue to the back of a bus and dragged me there, would I go there. So I can't then be a flip-flopper.
And take a free
So
hit.
I have to stay with some integrity. There's not much left around, but I had to stay with it.
So listen, how often would we have Eddie Hearn and Richard Schaefer in the same studio, Simon, live and talk sport? So correct me if I'm wrong. Mr. Schaefer, you've got the world champ in Sonny Edwards.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Mr. Hearn, you've got Julio Cesar Martinez, who may or may not be next for Sonny Edwards. Can you two get a deal on here this lunchtime?
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody wants that fight. I think it's a great fight. Sonny Edwards is a character. I mean, talk about rubbing people up the wrong way. I mean,
he's a great lad, though.
You know, he is a great lad, but he's very outspoken, and he's a very good fighter. Actually, maybe the best in the division. It's between those two. So Julio Cesar Martinez just boxed Chocolatito in a brilliant fight in San Diego, lost that fight up at super flyweight. He has to fight Arroyo now, he's mandatory, but they want to do that very quickly. And I think end of the summer, you know, maybe even on the AJ Usyk card, depending on where that is, I think that's a great fight for that card. A lot evolves around the heavyweight scene, even with the flyweights, where we're just looking at the schedule. Usyk, is he going to take the fight in the summer? Is he not going to take the fight in the summer? And a lot depends on building cards around that. But for me, Martinez against Sonny Edwards is definitely a fight that we need to see.
So Richard Schaefer, how do you feel about that? Maybe on the undercard of Joshua against Usyk, Sonny Edwards would get his shot against Julio Cesar Martinez.
Well, I think it's a perfect slot because it's sort of like the best of the big guys and the best of the little guys, and it's the best of. And I think it's a perfect slot for that. And I know that Eddie likes to do the fights as well. The fight fans want to see. That's who ultimately we as promoters work for, to deliver those kind of events. And this is one of the most talked about fights. And I agree with your assessment with Sonny. I think he is an amazing self-promoter. He has the skills to back it up. He's a trash talker. I mentioned it before. Sort of like compare him a bit about Floyd Mayweather. He really he can fight. He's got it all, and he has the
and there's great narrative in the fight and history because don't forget that Julio Cesar Martinez, knocked out Sonny Edwards' brother Charlie Edwards for the WBC world title,
right? But
actually hit him when he was on the floor after knocking him out.
Yeah,
and the fight was ruled a no contest. Charlie Edwards moved up in weight. And then Julio Cesar Martinez won the vacant title. So there'll be a lot of trash talking. And Sonny is a nightmare he's been having pops at Eddie Reynoso, at Canelo, of which Julio Cesar Martinez is part of the team. So the build-up's everything you want in a fight. You want two guys to go at it.
And it's the very least that Sonny deserves, isn't it? What an opportunity for him for a massive payday.
That's what he wants. And it's not just the payday. You see, at that level, of course, money is important, but it's really about the best fighting the best. And these young men and women, they have waited for these kind of moments and opportunities. And that's what we, as promoters, like to do. Bring these kind of fights to fight fans.
Where would you want to make it? Yeah?
Yeah, I think you could make it anywhere. I mean, you could make it on a Canelo card. You could make it on an AJ card. It could be a standalone headline on a Saturday night.
In an ideal world.
Part of me, when you get a fight of that magnitude, you always want to give it its own night, rather than, because if it's on the undercard of Joshua Usyk, it can get a little bit lost in the evening.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's big enough with the build-up to actually be a standalone.
Standalone in the UK.
I mean, look, Pete, some people don't like talking about rematches and two-fight deals. I actually do when you get to a position when you've got the two best in the division.
Yeah.
Maybe you do one in London and one in California.
Do you know what? I don't know if you guys do this, if this is how you do deals, but by God, it seemed pretty darn easy to me. So Sonny Edwards, who is in Richard Schaefer's camp, looks odds on now to fight Julio Cesar Martinez, who's in Eddie's camp. I wonder what Sonny thinks of it. Sonny, good afternoon.
Yes, Jim. What you saying?
Hey, my man.
What you saying, Simon?
So Sonny Edwards joins us live. Sonny, I'm with Simon, but what do you know? In the studio this lunchtime, we have Richard Schaefer, your boss at Probellum, and we have a man you know well, who moments ago called you the trash talker of all trash talkers. I've got Eddie Hearn with me, and it looks like you could be on to fight Julio Cesar Martinez next. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's the fight that makes the most sense. I mean, there is other good fights out there for both of us in the division, but when you really think about it, there's no other fight with the backstory, with the sort of pre-made build-up, with, there's a lot to it already, and it's a very interesting fight because it's two completely conflicting styles, and it's split in opinion pretty much down the middle. If you ask half the people, I'm getting knocked out in a matter of minutes, and the other half's telling me that telling everyone that I'm going to school him. So I think that's just great for boxing. And like Eddie said, it can happen anywhere. And if Eddie needs a 2-fight deal, we can have a 3-fight deal. I don't mind. I just want the fight.
Come on, Eddie. Listen to that. I mean, the boy's absolute gold, isn't it?
And you know what? Great that the smaller divisions are getting the opportunities for mega fights. I mean, we've just seen Chocolatito against Julio Cesar Martinez, 9,000 in San Diego. You've got Jesse Rodriguez, our other world champion at super flyweight. And now Sonny Edwards talking about, which is really, we've got a little bit of way to go before it's a mega fight, but a really, really big fight already in its own right.
And as Eddie says, it could be a standalone fight, Richard.
I think that's good.
I
mean, these are Sonny is a headliner. I think particularly here in the UK as well. So I'm sure we could build a nice show around it and have some matchroom fighters against some Probellum fighters and have some fun with it.
Sonny, how does it feel? You're still out in Dubai. Oh, I can see you now. You're out in the sunshine, mate. You've got the two of the biggest promoters in the world, two of the biggest names in the world of boxing, Richard Schaefer and Eddie Hearn, talking about you. You must be doing something right, Sonny.
You know what? I've worked very, very hard for a very long time to get here. I've been boxing something like 70% of my life, whatever 26 minus 17 is. I've been boxing most of my life to get to this point, and I've taken the risks early. I had to take fights for probably a lot less money they was worth, and risks higher than what I was even getting credit for early on. And then I kind of struggled to get anyone apart from sort of these international imports for a bit, but that's because my profile wasn't really there yet. We're getting to a point now of the world titles attached, the other sort of background storylines where, anytime I fight, Martinez is getting mentioned. When he fights, I get mentioned or get myself mentioned, one or the other. But it is great because a lot more people are starting to take notice of the lighter weights. And that is thanks to people like Richard Schaefer, people like Eddie Hearn, and the investment into us, because without people seeing us, for a couple of years before we get into these mega fights, how is anyone going to know us? We're not going to get hidden around at 6 o'clock.
Sonny, live on talkSPORT, it's as good as done. So we will pursue it afterwards. I know you're still out in Dubai. You and I stayed in the same hotel, didn't we, Sonny? Do me a favour, settle my room bill, would you? Thanks so much.
Don't worry. I've got mine on your tab anyway.
Sonny Edwards, well done. Thanks for joining us live from Dubai.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.